Hi everyone, I'm Rich, welcome to my channel. The iPad mini 6 has been out for a few months now and I had the pleasure of testing it out for school and just been trying to integrate it into my workflow. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the iPad mini 6 as a current college student. I will be talking about the design, how it pairs well with the second generation Apple Pencil, the handling, the performance, how I take notes on it, and more. So let's get started. First off, I want to talk about the design and handling of the Mini 6. The main selling point for this iPad is, well, it's mini. It's the smallest iPad on Apple's lineup and there's a lot of good things that come with it. The smaller form factor gives you an 8.3-inch display that you can hold in one hand, fit in smaller bags, and more. I think the size is perfect for those people who have like those cargo pockets on their jackets and pants. They can easily just like whip it out and use a display that's larger than their phone. It fits well in my hand and it's a really cute little device. Now at first the bezels may seem a little bit thick, but if you really think about it, this is probably as small as it can get for a tablet to give you something to hold on before your fingers start touching the screen and whatnot. So I mean, holding the device right now, my thumb sits right on the screen, but any thinner than that, then I'll just be on the display. So we really can't talk about thinner bezels. The display can get up to a maximum of 500 nits of brightness, so while it's not crazy high, I do have trouble using this while I'm outside on an overcast day. I found that I gotta be under a shade or something to see the display pretty clearly. The 8.3-inch display is sadly 60Hz. It's kind of a bummer now because it seems like Apple is transitioning most of its products to 120Hz screen, like the new iPhone 13 Pro. I want to add from a student perspective that if you got something like textbook PDFs on here or anything with just a lot of text, scrolling through all that isn't going to be enjoyable as something like the bigger iPad Pro. It looks a little choppy, a little laggy. If you have something like an iPhone 12, 11, 10, 7, 8, 6, then you know you're going to be scrolling around the same refresh rate as the iPad mini. There's also something called the jelly scroll effect. Now that's infamous on these iPad minis, and if you don't know what that is, I'll put an article down in the description below where you can read that. Personally, I notice it. Apple could have done a little bit better when it came to the display. Now, if you have something like a MacBook Air, I actually think that this iPad would pair perfectly with it. It's kind of like adding a touchscreen add-on to your MacBook because all of your notes and apps are going to be synced through iCloud. So when you have two of these devices side by side, I think this is a really great combination. But if you're going to be using this as your sole school device, I really think that the small size will definitely catch up to you. It's a little bit uncomfortable. It's as if I got something a little bit bigger than my iPhone. So yes, I do prefer a larger screen. But overall, both of my hands fit comfortably on the mini. Typing on it is very well doable, even on landscape mode. I'm able to type pretty fast. I rarely find myself typing with one finger on this device, which I know can get very annoying on some bigger tablets when you like gotta do like this all the time because the screen is too big. Other than that, it's nice to see the mini comes with a power button, which also acts as a Touch ID sensor. A USB-C charging port is also one of my favorite additions. This means if you do have a Mac or any other tablets like Samsung's or maybe a Nintendo Switch, you know, you can charge it with a variety of different chargers. You're not locked down to just Apple's, lightning cable. And if you do have a USB-C hub, there's support for that too. I can plug in my SD card to transfer photos, connect USB-A ports, and whatnot. Now let's talk about the A15 Bionic Chip. Now this is Apple's fastest CPU to date right now. So in retrospect, you're going to be getting those same blazing fast speeds on the iPad as you would on the newest iPhones right now. Everything from scrolling through the UI feels fast, fluid, and snappy. I haven't noticed a single slowdown yet, as this device is still pretty new, and I don't expect it to get any slower by the end of the year or next year. That A15 Bionic chip proves to be very powerful. Now, with that powerful, hungry CPU, how is that battery life? Well, through my test, I was able to have the iPad last between 9 to 11 hours of usage with a medium to lower brightness setting around 150 nits. I was drawing on it, taking some notes, scrolling through some type of media, watching a few videos here and there. I'd say maybe an hour to 3 hours worth of YouTube content, and all of that, added up to 9 to 11 hours, give or take, which is actually quite impressive considering how small the iPad mini is. Now let's talk about how this pairs up with the Apple Pencil 2. This, in my opinion, is kind of like a no-brainer. If you're going to get an iPad, it makes sense to get an Apple Pencil with it. If you're a student who's going to take notes, what else are you going to use? Your finger? The side of the tablet has this magnetic slot which allows the pencil to conveniently snap on, and this also acts like a storage slot. It stays on very well when you're moving this around a lot. A light tap won't let the pencil drop, but I would be careful about taking this in and out of your bag really fast because it could easily fall. The pen acts almost like a mouse for the iPad, except it's not. It's a stylus. It's like a magic wand. It makes for scrolling across your iPad very precise and enjoyable. Yes, of course, you can use your fingers, but it feels clumsy. Maybe you're reading an article and you want to highlight some text. Here you go. The pencil makes it easy with that fine point tool. I would say the pencil 2 just gets you better control when it comes to something like editing photos. Those sliders when you edit stuff like exposure, contrast, and all. Our human finger is a little bit too big sometimes to move that around. So the pencil with its fine point tool works great. With that being said, the pencil feels very well. There is some weight to the pencil, but that weight is more distributed towards the tip where you'll be writing and using this, so I haven't felt any fatigue using this as compared to something simple as a pen and paper, because you don't really need to press down as hard. It's all electronic, it's all digital. As far as note-taking, I actually enjoyed note-taking on this iPad mini a lot. There are a lot of note-taking apps out there, but I found that using the Notes app from Apple itself felt the fastest, the most organized, the simplest, and just the most meta in my opinion. When I'm in class, taking notes through my lecture is not only fun, but incredibly easy once you get the hang of it. You'll never run out of paper because, well, it's digital. And if you're trying to do character search, the thing when you do Control F on a computer and type in keywords and it finds stuff in yellow. Apple's keyword search will pick up your handwriting as long as it's not like complete dog water. One thing that kind of let me down is the size again. As you can see, if I was taking notes on a regular spiral notebook, my hand would fit on the whole book. But with the mini, I'd often leave the outside of the iPad, making it a little bit more uncomfortable after a while. As far as the camera and video, the 12 megapixel f1.8 camera on the iPad mini 6 presents a significant improvement. It gathers more light, resulting in cleaner photos and videos with less noise. The smaller size of the iPad mini makes it easier to shoot than larger iPads, and I know most of us may not necessarily be using this as your main, camera, but still a great device which you can use to take photos and videos as well. You can scan notes on this. The scan feature works very well on this, allowing me to capture whatever I need to do, like documents and PDFs. The rear-facing camera juts out just a tiny bit. The quality is still pretty super sharp. The photos that come out of here is great. The image processing does a great job of balancing color and contrast, giving us a great image that's well balanced and natural. Not to mention that front-facing camera has that super wide-angle lens, and this is really cool. I love this feature a lot. It's great to toy around with when you're with your friends or when you want to take a nice selfie or do something. As far as everything else, I use this iPad a lot, not only for taking notes, but for other things as well. Learning apps like Complete Anatomy is a great tool when I'm studying something like the bone structure of the human body. It's interactive and easy to use on the iPad. I don't need to whip out something as massive as the larger iPads, and it gets the job done fine. And while I'm not the best drawer out there, I do admit I kind of draw some things around when I'm bored. And like I mentioned, if you do have a MacBook, I think that this would make for a complete killer combination. My drawings are synced through iCloud. I can airdrop notes, work, and other media onto my laptop to get a closer look, and vice versa. So in conclusion, the iPad mini 6 paired up with the Apple Pencil 2 makes for a really great addition for a variety of students out there. Notice how I said addition. While I do enjoy taking notes on this, studying, and doing other productive work, the size of the mini is, well, still mini. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is to let you know that it's a small device. And if you're looking at getting this as your sole workhorse machine, I think it's very hard to use because of its size. Can it replace your laptop or desktop PC? I wouldn't think so. I think the mini is best for people who go out often, who have, those big cargo pockets, a purse, a fanny pack, a backpack, which they can just tuck it in real quick. If you have like an oversized jeans or something, you could just easily whip it out, do something that you need to do, adjust sliders, photos, use it for music, student work, draw something on the side. Then this iPad mini is great. If anything, I would recommend it. So in conclusion, that's my review of the iPad mini 6 and how it pairs well with the Apple Pencil 2. As a student, it works well with what I need it for, and I would definitely pair this up with a MacBook laptop and my gaming PC, which I have back here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you looking at getting this? Do you have one yourself? Do you have any questions, thoughts, and opinions on it? Leave them all down in the comments below. I'm going to read all of your comments. I'll try to reply to as much as I can. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you then.